Brace yourself. Better pass up anytime now. Collect yourself. You'll never be the same in a sad, sad world. Walk around the light a bit, trying to make the pieces fit to a puzzle with a million missing pieces. When I'm feeling fine is when I discover that I'm afraid to blow my cover, and there's something very wrong with this. So slip back in your hole.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good to be with you today. Oops, wrong PowerPoint. That's for tomorrow. Oh, Leandrona says I've given your lesson a title and an official lesson number and PowerPoint slide, but that's for tomorrow. That's for later. Here's for today, Master of Puppets. All right. So we've been talking Trojan War for a while now. Whose fault is the Trojan War? Who's to blame for the Trojan War? What do you think? A Dyson.
Paris.
A Dyson blames Paris. How many agree with a Dyson? It's Paris's fault. Mackay and all his friends agree that it is Paris's fault. Anybody else think Paris? That's a reasonable. Oh, and Helen, yeah. Later on, you'll get to hear from the townspeople of Mycenae, the old men townspeople of Mycenae. We'll hear from in a few weeks, and those of you who've watched Agamemnon may recall, Maria, you remember what they thought about Helen?
Poor.
Yes, and they're not afraid to say so. So we've got Paris to blame, Helen to blame. Anybody else have a thought? Someone else to blame? Isabel.
The goddess that threw the apple.
Eris, the goddess of strife, the goddess of discord, who threw the golden apple. She's not very nice. I wouldn't invite her to my wedding if I were you. Oh, wait, maybe you should invite her to your wedding. Nobody's saying that. Oh, no, I kind of.
Three goddesses: Aphrodite, Helen, or not sorry, Hera, and Athena.
Yeah, the three goddesses. I'm the prettiest. No, I'm the prettiest. No, me, the prettiest. Yeah. Not very mature, not very respectful for immortal deities, one of whom is the goddess of wisdom. That's kind of petty. Nobody wants to say Agamemnon. Tyler and Maria, now that I've said it, want to say Agamemnon. Oh, Menelaus and Agamemnon? Yeah. Oh, Leandrona says she's got a strong, unexplained distaste. I don't think it's that unexplained. Agamemnon is not a likable guy. So let's say Paris and Helen do their thing, and let's stipulate that it's wrong. If you're taking my ethics class, maybe we'll talk about whether it's wrong to leave your husband and daughter and run away with another guy, or to take another guy's wife. Let's just, for sake of argument, let's say that's wrong. That's the kind of wrong thing that happens a lot. I know people in that situation. You probably know people in that situation. How many of those situations have led to 10-year-long wars that kill tens of thousands of people? There's got to be another ingredient in there, and I think Agamemnon's a strong candidate for that ingredient. What's up? Things of that. Now, Jean just chiming in there with disconnected cliches. Excellent. As far as that goes, all things considered. I want to propose that there's somebody to blame that we haven't pinned the blame on yet, even though Homer told us right from the very beginning. So we're going to go back. You don't have to take out your books because we're just reading a couple verses and they're going to be on the screen. Here's how Homer begins his Iliad. Rage. Goddess, sing the rage of Peleus, son Achilles, murderous, doomed, that cost the Achaeans countless losses, hurling down to the house of death so many sturdy souls, great fighters' souls, but made their bodies carrion, feasts for the dogs and birds. The will of Zeus was moving toward its end. Zeus has been behind the scenes. Oh, he's the puppet master. He's behind the scenes orchestrating this entire cataclysmic event. It's his will. He's got a plan. What's that plan? I mean, what is he in this for? Is he doing this to destroy Troy? Do you think that's his motivation? No, people are saying, no, why not? Dyson's got it because he likes Troy's his favorite city. All right, so there's nothing personal against Troy. Is he doing it to Tyler? What'd you say?
He's doing it just because.
Tyler says, I think he's doing it just because. What about this? Is he doing it to bring glory to the Greeks? Have the Greeks come across very glorious? We today don't really respect the motives behind the war. Neither did the ancient Greeks. Neither did Homer. Nobody's saying that they've went to battle to get Menelaus' wife back, and it was awesome that they did this. Nobody thinks that. In fact, Zeus been screwing the Greeks over for the whole Iliad, lying to Agamemnon. So what's he in this for? What's he trying to accomplish? To find this out, we have to look away from Homer. Homer knows this, but he doesn't make it explicit. This is where Homer tells us Zeus's will is being enacted. Zeus is behind this. I'm choking to death on something here. Zeus, damn you, Zeus. Sorry, didn't mean it. Just in case you're real. Homer's audience, right? So for us, we have to learn all about the cultural context in order to we can appreciate the story and the action and the characters, but then we've got to look up a bunch of information to understand the historical background. Homer's original audience didn't have to do that because they were the cultural context. So when Homer sings this to them, they know exactly what he's talking about. Homer didn't make it explicit. Hesiod did. There's a Hesiod. Remember we talked about his theogony a few weeks ago. That's the epic poem about the origins of the gods. He also wrote an epic called Works and Days, and then there are little bitty fragments of otherwise lost works. One of Hesiod's work is called, I don't know if this was for shopping or what. It's called the Catalog of Women. And in Hesiod's Catalog of Women, he tells us what Zeus's motivation is. I skipped this. I was going to have a trick question. All right. Before I gave you Hesiod's answer, I would say, why did Zeus create mankind? And someone was going to say, he didn't. And how did he feel about mankind? Yeah, remember who is our creator in the Greek myth? Prometheus, yes. And as a special thank you to Prometheus for what's that?
Isn't he the dude that was chained to a rock to be eaten by crows?
Maurice has got it. Zeus' special way of thank you for gifting him with us. Our creator is chained eternally against a rock, having a vulture eat it or an eagle eat his liver, and then the liver goes back and eats it again. All right. So what's Zeus's motive? Here comes Hesiod. Here comes Hesiod telling us. I don't know why I'm like said that so serious. Here comes Hesiod, guys. Here comes Hesiod. You're not gonna believe who I quoted in this PowerPoint, guys. Dude. Oh, I'm lucky. Now all the gods were divided through strife, discord. For at that very time, Zeus, who thunders on high, was mediating marvelous deeds, even to mingle storm and tempest over the boundless earth. And already he was hastening to make an utter end of the race of mortal men, declaring that he would destroy the lives of the demigods, that the children of the gods should not mate with wretched mortals, seeing their fate with their own eyes, but that the blessed gods henceforth, even as aforetime, should have their living and their habitations apart from men. But on those who were born of immortals and of mankind, So the demigods, the half god, half human. Verily Zeus laid toil and sorrow upon sorrow. The Greeks look at, their mythical ancient history as a series of ages, a golden age in the past, a silver age, and we are living in the age of mud. Zeus thinks there are far too many people, and as long as walking among the people are all these mortal half gods, people are just going to keep getting stronger. Homer references this in an offhand way all the time when he says something like, and Achilles ate 5,000 extra spicy chicken wings, which no man could do, weak as men are today. And what he's talking about is there was a different age when the gods walked among men and the gods slept among women, and they produced superheroes. And Zeus didn't want that. Zeus doesn't like us. Sometimes he's in the mood for some of us, but he doesn't like us. And he wants, if not to wipe us out completely, because he hasn't yet, he wants to limit our population substantially, and he wants to put an end. He wants to put an end to the gods and humans mating. If you look at Homer, all these human kings, almost all of them are sons or grandsons or great-grandsons of gods and goddesses mixed with people. And you got to think, if you're an ancient Greek person in Homer's audience, and this is part of your cultural narrative, part of your faith tradition, you might be wondering, we used to have kings that were half God. Now we just got slobbering morons like ourselves. What happened? Boom, here's a myth to explain what happened. It used to be this way, but Zeus doesn't like us. Dark. Greece is, as far as great high ancient cultures go, Greece is young. Greece is a newcomer. All of Europe is new to the cultural game. Like Mariam's homeland of Egypt was already ancient when Homer was writing, and the Sumerians, and so there are a lot of myths that have been circulating for hundreds or thousands of years when the Greeks were just coming into their own, and those myths influenced the Greeks. And we're familiar with some of them, even if we don't realize that we are. So the high god wants to wipe out all mankind. Have we heard that story anywhere else? Where else, Tyler? The Bible. Where in the Bible? What story? Give me a guy. Give me a person's name. The flood. Yes. The Noah's Ark story in Genesis. And kind of like the Greek story, before Noah's Ark, right before that, what happens is divine beings come down from heaven and they mate with human women, and they produce a race of giants called the Nephilim that then do great things and they invent architecture and art. And I've got one right here. So I use it in my ethics class. Got one right here. Give me just a second. I'll read it right to you. It's like 3 lines long. Don't tell Karl Marx I'm reading the Bible. No. Adam, Cain, Methuselah. All right, this is Genesis chapter 6. When human beings began to grow numerous on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw how beautiful the daughters of human beings were. And so they took for their wives whomever they pleased. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not remain in human beings forever, because they are only flesh. Their days shall comprise 120 years. All the people before this lived to be like 800 and 900 years old in Genesis. The Nephilim, that means the giants, the Nephilim appeared on earth in those days as well as later, after the sons of God had intercourse with the daughters of human beings who bore them sons. They were the heroes of old, the men of renown. The very next verse begins the story of the flood. And the biblical flood story is not the oldest flood story from the Near East. The biblical flood story is rooted in an older story that we have preserved in the Epic of Gilgamesh, a Sumerian story that's about 1,000 years older than the Iliad, and would be a fantastic topic for an independent project. Tyler.
Wasn't there also a Greek flood story?
There is, yeah. In the Gilgamesh story, at least in the Genesis story, God wipes out everybody because he says everybody's evil. You know, I don't know about the little babies or whatnot, but at least that's the motivation. In the Sumerian story, in Gilgamesh, the gods send the flood to wipe out mankind because we're too loud and we keep the gods up too late. The gods can't get any sleep, so they destroy mankind. At any rate, it's a common theme. It's a common theme. Let's go back to Zeus. I'm going to spend a few minutes looking at, now that we know who's behind this, we know that we didn't catch it, but Homer told us on page 1 whose fault this is. I want to show you some of the ways that Zeus has been operating behind the scenes all along. He's playing a long game that goes back generations. So I want to take us back to, this is Thyestes, and this is Atreus. Atreus was the king of Mycenae. Thyestes was his brother. Thyestes, you might recall, staged a rebellion against Atreus, and he also staged a little hugging and kissing with Atreus' wife. All right. Atreus said, "What should I do? What should I do?" And Zeus came to him and whispered in his ear, "I got your back. I know what you're planning, and I got your back. Go for it." Now, what was he planning? How did Atreus get his revenge on Thyestes? Do you remember? Maria, come here.
What's his name?
Okay,
Atreus.
Atreus, yes.
Atreus. Basically, what he did is he like grabbed Thyestes' son, I think, and like he gave him a little ground meat treatment. He like grabbed him, chopped him up, and then he cooked them, and then was like, "Thyestes, come here, like come try this dinner. I'll have some dinner. Like, we can squash the beef." Little did Thyestes know the beef was his little kid.
Yep.
And
if you didn't catch that in Maria E's, Atreus kills Thyestes' kids and cooks them and feeds them to him. He's like, I call this one chicken a la D's. And
these nuts.
It was funny. It was funny. Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
Zeus told him to do that. Zeus is also, now follow this. Zeus is also the patron god of hospitality, who will curse anyone who violates the laws of hospitality. Zeus told Atreus to do this and then cursed him and his family for it. See, things that we consider hypocrisy don't apply to the gods in the Greek mindset because the gods don't owe us anything. Zeus sets this up in order that Atreus' family will be cursed. And the result of that is, these are the sons of Atreus. Agamemnon Atrides and Menelaus Atrides. Zeus pulls the strings. Zeus inspires a horrible act of if I don't think it's a real word, but it would be nepoticide, the murder of your nieces and nephews, and then cannibalism, in order to give us these two darling sweethearts, Agamemnon and Menelaus. Zeus turns into a swan.
At this time, all OJT students, please report to the cafeteria. At this time, all OJT students, please report to the cafeteria. OJT students only. OJT students.
Zeus becomes a swan.
At this time, OJT students, please report to the cafeteria, please. OJT students, please report to the cafeteria. Thank you.
At this time, all OJT students report. So Zeus turns into a swan and he seduces Leda, the queen of Sparta. Of course, Zeus is always seducing folks. And sometimes the plan of Zeus is just to have an evening's entertainment with a young lady or fella or animal. But in this case, myth has its own logic and illogic. So why he had to be a swan, I don't know, other than swans are considered especially beautiful. He does this in order to magically produce an offspring, a daughter who will be the most beautiful woman in the world that men will find irresistible. So the offspring of this union, well, it's actually quadruplets. Leda lays 2 eggs. 2 of the children are actually fertilized by her husband, Tyndareus, and 2 of them by Zeus. So she has Helen, Clytemnestra, Castor, and Pollux. Zeus then arranges to have the goddess Thetis married to the human hero Peleus. Zeus has a special connection to Thetis. It goes back to the time. Remember, there was a time when all the gods and goddesses rebelled against Zeus, and they had him chained up. Oh, poor helpless Zeus. Can somebody please save me? Does that sound like Zeus? Helpless? No, but he plays helpless. Why? Because he knows that he's Zeus. And there are certain of the lady gods that are always going to have like a permanent crush on Zeus. Thetis is one of them. Thetis, come help me. I need you to help me. I'll be your BFF. And so Thetis saves Zeus. We tell the story with a straight face. Wait, Thetis saves Zeus? Zeus couldn't break free and he needed Thetis's help? Maybe she goes down to hell and she unleashes the Hecatoncheires. And she was the only one in all the galaxy that could save him? No, he's playing her. Because now she feels this connection. You don't understand. We've got something real. All right. This isn't just a crush. Me and Zeus got something real. I love him and he loves me. Yeah. Well, no, she's bonus. Tyler goes, my father, bonus. No, he's not. No, Thetis' father's the old man of the sea. He's not even related to her. All right. So now you've got this. Sure, she's immortal, but you got to remember that the Greeks tend to infantilize women, even the gods. So she may be immortal and trillions of years old, but she's like permanent teenager in the Greek mindset, because Greeks don't ever consider women adults for real. She's got this puppy love, heart-struck teenage girl, being not really, but mentally teenage girl, no offense, teenage girls in the room, being manipulated by Zeus. He's like, yeah, come talk to me. Let's hang out. All right. And like, you got to think, the moment she leans in for a kiss or something, he's like, oh no, I can't. There's this prophecy. I'm so sorry, but we just got to be friends. Okay. I just can't do it. And she's, how do you think she feels about that? No, she's not happy about that, but he's Zeus. She can't argue. And so he gives her a consolation prize. A guy, a hero, a warrior. He was one of the Argonauts. By the way, Jason, the Argonauts would be a great topic for an independent project. He says, no, you got to marry this guy. She doesn't want to. She runs away. He chases her. Into a cave. She's the daughter of the old man of the sea. So she turns into a whole bunch of different animals trying to escape him. And he wrestles her and he beats her and he rapes her. Zeus knew exactly who he was sending her to. And he also knew they would produce powerful warrior offspring. Rage, gotta sing the rage of Peleus' son, Achilles. And he also knew that Thetis would always hate Achilles' father, that Thetis would do everything in her power to keep Achilles away from his father, which she did. And Achilles, as often is the case with a young boy and a young man raised without a father, is constantly trying to earn his father's approval, to be the kind of man that would be worthy of his father's attention. When the goddesses were fighting over the golden apple, right? You ever wonder how, of all people on earth, why was it Paris that got to pick who was the prettiest goddess? Because that's who Zeus told them to go talk to. Go ask this guy. He's perfect. I got just the guy for you. He'll do you right. When Agamemnon sacrifices his daughter Iphigenia, in this case, it's at the command of Artemis. I don't have any explicit account of Zeus being directly behind this, but as I sort of in my head canon, as I enter into the story, like, no, Zeus wouldn't farm this one out, behind the scenes, it's gotta be Zeus telling Artemis, ooh, here's what you should do. Here's what you should do to F with this guy. Look, I know we don't like Agamemnon. We're not supposed to. I don't like him. You don't like him. If you ever hear anyone say their favorite person in the Iliad is Agamemnon, that person should just be locked up. All right. But still, it's hard not to at least somewhat connect with the guy on a human level. He's not a good guy, but he's a guy just being absolutely screwed over by the most powerful being in the mega cosmos or whatever there is, Ooh, Tyler, come up here. Say that. Come say that.
To be fair to Agamemnon, like, if you had to kill your own daughter to go to war, he's not gonna end the war till he gets what he wanted. So he's like, no, I don't want to end this war, and to kill his daughter for it.
In that moment, Zeus has made sure that this war is going to last as long as I want it to. Agamemnon has given up everything he intends to give up. That's the same reason, at least in my opinion, that's the same reason he lets the big blow up with Achilles happen in the first place. Agamemnon can have as many slave girls as he wants. Why is he fighting Achilles over one of them? Because he's not giving up anything else. I gave up my daughter. You want a nickel from me? No, it's mine. All right, you can't have it. Zeus, we know, intervenes directly in book 2 or 3. I think book 2, where Agamemnon has the dreams. Zeus comes to Agamemnon in the dreams, says, go for it. Now's the time. You're going to win. There he's just straight up lying to him. He's not even being smooth. He's like, hey, it's me, Zeus, blah, 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 blah. And it's not true. Oh, yeah. Just like Batman get called it, just like he did to Atreus. Just like he did to Atreus. Zeus tells all the gods, hey, now look, whatever you do, don't get involved in the war.
Why is it?
Don't get involved in the war. Now, you're on the honor system because I'm going on vacation. And he leaves with that command. Compared to Zeus, all the gods are children, and that's how they behave. All right. You even Poseidon, who's Zeus's older brother, acts like a child around Zeus. Doesn't act like a child around people, but around Zeus. So you tell a kid not to do something, eventually, what's he going to do? He's going to do it. If I install a button on the wall that says "Do not press," give it 20 seconds, and people will be pressing that button on. I'll have like freshmen up there just pressing it with their face and licking it and all sorts of crap. So Zeus knows exactly what he's doing when he goes on vacation. Oh, whatever you do, don't cause more trouble in Troy. Yeah. And then he comes home. He's so mad. And then Hera tricks him. Oh, Hera gets the better of Zeus, doesn't she? She gets him wasted and she sleeps with him. Oh, poor Zeus, he's defeated. He lets her think she defeated him by getting him stoned and sleeping with him. And then she walks away thinking she won. And now here we are. Almost here we are. Patroclus is on the battlefield. A dynamo. Patroclus is a killing machine. And then Patroclus sets his eyes on Sarpedon, the son of Zeus, a demigod. And Zeus looks down. He's like, oh, crap, what should I do? That's my son. That's my son. And Hera's like, you can't save him. You can't save him. If you save him, none of the gods will respect you. And he's like, oh, you're right. You're right. What? He doesn't need them to respect him. He needs them to obey him. And he can force that anytime he wants. It's like, dang, I guess I'll have to sacrifice my son, Sarpedon. The whole point of this thing is to kill off all his half-human kids. And he puts on this front. Like, oh, my favorite, best son ever, Sarpedon, but I'm going to sacrifice him in the name of, what my wife wants. No, it's just another step in his plan. And it's the step that did it. Because now, once Patroclus kills Sarpedon, now Zeus has an excuse to pull the gloves off. Sends Apollo after Patroclus. Patroclus isn't killed fairly. Apollo flies down and rips all his armor off at the command of Zeus. Patroclus falls, and this brings us to the biggest thing Zeus needs to happen now. Some of you have seen it. If you haven't, this is this is where we left off. Achilles is back. He sets on his first day back. All he does is set foot on the battlefield. Yell. Athena amplifies his voice so that he screams with the voice of 10,000 men. His head is on fire. I finally got it to make Achilles with his head on fire. 3 fingers. I need to make a U with no mouth. That's what I need to make. One or two. Women be shopping. That is true. Women do shop. This is where we pick up. Tomorrow, when Leandronicus will lead us in Iliad books 19 and 20.
Walk around a lot a bit, trying to make the pieces fit to a puzzle with a million bits and pieces. When I'm feeling fine is when I discover that I'm afraid to blow my cover, and there's something very wrong with this. So sit back in your hole, or get back in your cave. If I'm going down, I'm taking someone with me.